All right, friends. I'm so excited. So I know a lot of teams typically do like goal setting Zooms in December and stuff like that, but I've actually never done this. I always am so focused on like right now that I wait and do goal setting in January. And so this is a little bit different speed, but I'm really, really excited. And so that's why I wanted to do this early. So before we jump into everything, if you guys are not doing something super weird, please turn your cameras on because I would love to see your beautiful faces. And yeah, we'll keep going. But so I'm really excited about where we're going. I really truly feel like 2024 is going to be a year like no other. I believe it's going to be different. I believe the company is going to be different. I believe your lives are going to be different. I believe that we've gone through the faithful planting. And as long as we hold true to that God's going to be doing something so big in our lives in 2024. And I'm so excited about what's coming that I want to bring it early. I want to talk about it now because I want to use what's coming, what we're feeling, all the dreams we've got for ourselves next year. I want to use it as motivation to finish out this year. Because the thing is you can't wait till January 1st to start working for what you want next year. That starts today. That starts with what you're doing now. We talked about this some last week, but boom season's coming. For those of you guys who don't know, we call boom season the first half of the year. It's just super exciting. I mean, everyone's goal, right? New Year's resolutions, it's to lose weight and make money. And we offer a solution to both. So that alone is going to help amplify your business come January. But there's magic in boom season when you build the magic in the drought. And so if you're wanting to build an insane business and insane momentum going into next year to launch yourself towards your goals and dreams, you cannot wait till January to start. You've got to start it now. You've got to plant when you don't see it. You got to plant when it's hard. You've got to show up now because the people that you're going to look at and be like, holy crap, their business is insane. How the heck did they just go triple diamond in 2 weeks? How the heck we're popping presidents, we're popping ambassadors. We got people that'll come in and go diamond in a month. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what is happening? All this excitement. Why isn't it happening to me? And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you start showing up for your business right now, like you're gonna go diamond at the end of this month, like you're gonna go prez at the end of this month, come boom season, regardless of what happens ending this year, come January, you are going to be in an entirely different place in your business. When you start planting, when you don't see it, you become the person when the rain comes that everyone's looking at like, holy crap, how is everything working for them? And the cool thing is the magic in boom season, the magic in a booming business in a couple of months is right this second, which means it's attainable to every single one of you. Every single one of you can show up today and start working intentionally. And when rain comes, when boom season comes, when God brings the blessing, you are going to be overflowing so immensely that not only will it change your life, it's going to go forward and change your team's life, change the life of the people around you, and inspire other people. You don't even know that they can do this too. And it all gets to start right now where we are building in the drought towards what God's going to do next year. So I'm just super excited. I've got notes today too, guys, and you guys know I don't do notes a lot. So we are on it tonight. I'm ready to go. So I wanted to read really quick. I got this photo quote I saw on Pinterest, and I've just been reading over it every time I feel like I hit a spot where I'm I'm tired of the same old, right? Drop a 2 or 1 in the chat. We're just jumping ahead numbers, y'all. Okay, drop a 1 in the chat if you're tired of the same old. If you're tired of the same struggle, if you're tired of the same fight, if you're tired of the same repeats of the same cycles, right? Because we all feel that, whether in your business, whether in your family, whether in your finances, whether in your marriage, whether in your children, we feel that a lot of times. And so as I've been kind of battling that myself over the last month or so, I found this quote that I keep going back to as just a reminder that it is changing. Because when I said it, I meant it, y'all. I believe in my soul that 2024 is going to be a different year. with everything in me. And my darkest moments when I'm sitting in the bathroom floor crying, not understanding how all of this is going to add up, not understanding what God is doing in this season and how I'm going to survive this and how I'm going to get through it, I still full-heartedly believe that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that things are going to be so freaking different next year if we stay faithful on the faithful path, if we stay showing up authentically, if we keep pressing in to what God has for us. I believe chains are going to be loosed. I believe generational wealth is going to be created. I believe so much is coming in this next year. And so in my like little pity parties, I come back to this quote and I wanted to share it with you guys, just because it just makes me feel good. And that's how I want to kick off our goal settings with this. So this is the year God's going to shift things in your favor. He's getting things all lined up. What you couldn't make happen on your own, God is going to, because is going to cause you to accomplish. It's going to be bigger than you thought. It's going to happen quicker than you imagined. And it's going to be more rewarding than you ever dreamed of. Your part is just to stay faithful. Keep declaring that God is at work. Keep believing that he is turning things around for your good. Remember, this is the year of God's favor, and you are just one shift away from every blessing he has in store for you guys. How good does that make you feel, right? That just like gives you that like, oh, yes, okay, I'm doing it. I'm pressing forward. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep believing, and I know things are going to change. And so I want to talk about goal setting a little bit different this year. So we love the big picture goals, right? Like we love to know that you're going to be a millionaire, debt-free, living in your dream house, driving the dream car. Like we love it, right? I'm about it. I mean, I'm about it, okay? But I want to challenge you to look at this year different, because I know you got the big goals. I know you know what you want. You want the man, and you want the pretty house, and you want all the things. I know you know that. But I want to challenge you to look at 2024 different. Because yes, all of those things could happen next week. Like God can bring blessings that don't make any sense to us, and that could happen. But I have learned that if we can get excited about where we are right now, if we can start turning this into our dream life, we open doors that were closed to us before. Because I don't know about you guys, but I spent a lot of time looking for my dream, knowing that when I just have this, I'll be happy, right? I was literally just telling Daniel this the other day. One of my big picture dreams is we want a ranch, and we want horses and cattle and like the whole nine, okay? And I was like, I told him the other day to get home, and I was like, you know what? When we have a ranch, I'll be happy. I'm convinced I will have no problems on my ranch. Like all my problems I have now, they will be gone, and I will just be happy then. And we feel that way sometimes, right? We look at that big goal or that rank or that income level, and we're like, when I get this, I won't have the problems anymore. I'll be happy. If only I can make $10,000 a month. My life would be changed. I would have no problems. I would be good. If only I wasn't driving a beat up car and I could drive the brand new Benz, I would be happy. I would have no problems. If only my marriage was perfect and my husband just said yes to everything I wanted, my life would be perfect. If only my business was growing and like things were just so crazy, my whole life would be good. And we want to look at these goals, instead of being a place we're going, we want to look at it as like an end all be all. Like I can't be happy until I have this, because this is what I'm pushing for. This is what I think God has for me, but I got to get there. And I want to challenge us in 2024 to stop striving so hard to get where we think we got to go to be happy. And instead, I want us to start crafting happiness in our life right now. So yes, I love the big goals, but I want you to think, how can you turn where you are right now into your dream life? How can you sit down with your husband and start crafting your dream marriage now? Not after counseling, or once he, gets a haircut, or once you lose 200 pounds, or whatever your goals for there that's holding you back in that doubt and that insecurity and those things, but like right now, how could you make it better? I want you to think about your house, right? Because I know most of us aren't living in our dream house, okay? I'm in like a 1,100 square foot apartment. Like it's not my dream, okay? I love it here, but it ain't it. And so how can I sit down and turn this into my dream house for now? How can I make this okay and stop thinking I have to get to the next place to feel okay? How can I fall in love with the person I am now, not the person I want to become? How do I love what I look like now? Because I'm convinced my hair is the problem. And that's why I've been unhappy since I've had my daughter. It's because I was doing the whole short hair thing, which I liked before I was pregnant. Then I got pregnant. Then I have a daughter. And now I'm like, I'm insecure because of the hair. I got to grow it out. But how can I love myself while the hair is growing, right? Like, how can I fall in love and build confidence in me now? You want to lose 50 pounds? Awesome. How are you going to love yourself while you still have them? How can you shift now to create your dream life here, where you are in this season? Because I know that when we start getting stupid grateful for what we already have, when we start really embracing the gift of your life, because your broken marriage is a gift. Your crazy, ridiculous, want to throw them off the wall and bridge and all the things, children, they're a gift. That extra couple pounds, like, that's a gift. Your health is a gift. Your finances are a gift. The phone bill you barely paid, it's a gift. And when we stop looking so aggressively at the next best thing and really start appreciating and figuring out how can we use what God has already given us to make our dream life happen now. When you start getting that focus and those lenses of what you're looking at, you just remove so much. You just create so much space for God to move in a different way. And that's what I want for you guys in 2024. I want you to have the biggest dang year of your life. But if all you're doing is setting the same goals again this year that you've been setting, those big audacious goals, you're still going to be winding up a little bit short. And I'm sure you'll crush some of them, but you're going to fall a little bit short. And I want to encourage you guys just to think a little different, just to focus on what can we do to make your current situation the most beautiful dream life-like thing it could be. So I told you guys, if you were on time, you guys know. If not, I'll give you like 30 seconds. Go get yourself a pen and paper, use the notes on your phone, whatever. I'm going to go through some not journaling, but goal setting prompts with you guys. Okay. It's a bunch of questions and I'm gonna go fairly fast because there's a bunch of them. But while I'm doing this, I want you to really think, like I'm saying, about where you're at now. I want you to apply these questions now. And I don't want you to dream small necessarily. Like, don't say, my goal for next year is to make $100 a month. Okay. I do want you to push yourself. But if you're in your mind, your first thought was my goal is to make $100 a month, I don't want you to put down that you want to make $100,000 a month, because I love it for you. And I do believe that God can do that for you. But I want us to practice the small steps, because the thing is that to get to $100,000 a month, first you got to get 1,000, then you got to get 2, then you got to get 10. And so we can still build with that. And I want to focus on the smaller sides of things. So before we jump into this, I want to say a quick prayer. I know we typically end at prayer, but we're just going to throw it in there twice tonight, because I want us to be in the right spot for this, because I think God can work and reveal and just open so much when we are just like really looking at what he is going to do in our next year. Like, how cool is that? I don't think I've ever done that, where I was like, instead of just like what I want next year, well, God, what do you want for me next year? What are you doing for me next year? What are the right paths that you want me on? And just kind of opening it in a different way. So before we jump into all these questions I have for you guys, and y'all, I put together the best question list I've ever done, and I'm really excited because there's so many good thoughts. So before we jump into that, I'm going to pray us in real quick. So dear Lord Jesus, I'm so dang excited for what you're doing right now, what you're doing in this current season, and what mountains you're moving for our future. I believe in the path you have laid in front of us. I believe that incredible things are coming in our future, that the battle is won, that the things that we are so weighed down by are just going to be relieved in this year, that things are going to shift and change in ways bigger than what we can imagine, quicker than we can ever fathom, and just so grandiose that it's going to affect people so much further than just us. And I want, as we go into this time of kind of seeking what we want for ourselves, I want you to be in the middle of it too. I want you to drop the little thoughts in their heads of, okay, what about this? Because we want our path to align with yours. Because I know when we lock those two in, like, we are unstoppable. So allow us to just tune into that. And hopefully you can just continue to reveal yourself through this as they listen to the recording again. And I'm just so excited for what you're doing in this group over the next year. So dear Lord Jesus, thank you. Amen. So I got a bunch of questions for you guys. Are you ready? Drop like a 2 in the chat if you're excited as I am to think about some dreams, okay? I love dreaming. It's like one of those like forgotten arts. We just like, society teaches us that dreaming is like bad. You just kind of go through life. And I'm on fire for dreaming, okay? That was one of my biggest takeaways from this business when I started 5 years ago, was very quickly I learned how to dream again. And I never want to let that go. And so I'm excited to dream a little bit more with you guys. So I want you guys, I'm going to go through these quick, and I want you just to jot down anything that's coming in your head as I go through these a million questions I put together. And like I said, there is going to be recording. So yes, you can go back and listen to them. And no, I will not type them in the chat. Okay. So I love you guys, but pay attention. All right. So the first thing that we want to talk about is work goals, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a business and we are all here showing up for our business. So let's start there. Let's talk about that. So when you're thinking about your business next year, what would make you feel good about your business? What would need to change for you to be excited to do your work? What areas for your business do you want to improve in? What rank do you want to consistently work towards next year? What areas do you need to be more consistent to achieve that rank? How do you need to show up for your team differently? How can you improve in how you love and lead people? How can you create a stronger niche? What more can you give your audience? What business relationships do you want to grow? How do you need to shift your work-life balance? It's a good one. How can you give back more? How can you create a better or a different culture within your personal team? And that goes for you guys. If you don't have a team yet, what culture do you want to create within your team? How can you align your team with God, your team and your business with God's calling on your life? How can you influence and inspire more people this year? And how many team promotions are you committed to helping? I love when I think about my future business. I know this last year I've had a big pivot for myself. And for the first time, I actually learned what it looked like to walk the talk that you hear all the time about, like, if you help enough people hit their goal, you're going to get yours done. And I've heard that and it sounds nice, but this is the first year where I've really got to practice a little bit more selfless leadership. Okay. I'm definitely human, so not a lot more, but really being able to prioritize sometimes my team before myself. And when I tell you guys, when you really can just kind of hone in on helping people in this next year, that statement is 100% true. When you help enough people, your life is going to change. And this business is just the most beautiful vehicle to allow you to do that. So the next thing we're going to talk about is time goals. All right. So how do you need to shift your priorities next year? How can you focus more effectively? How can you delegate better? You guys, I am the worst delegator ever. So that's a big one I'm working on. How can you plan ahead better? Do you need to schedule your week better? What do you wish you had more time for? Do you need to start practicing a Sabbath? Do you need to set time boundaries? One big thing for me when it comes to time is I need to stop Netflix and working. Like, I'm real big of Netflix is my checkout. Like, I've mommed all day, like nap time. I really just want to turn the TV on and for a sec. And that's one of my big things I started doing earlier this month that I plan to continue on the new year is limiting my TV time, because it's a lot of noise and it's a lot of clutter. And that's one of mine. So next category, we're going to go through some relationship goals. So who do you want to focus more on next year? How do you want to see growth within your current relationships? How can you serve your relationships better? Do you need to set boundaries in any relationships? And how can you love your people better? And those are all the relationships, the relationship with family, your spouse, your friends, your team relationships. Like, what can we do to just love our people better next year? All right, the next one is health goals. I know we got some of those. I want to drop the rest of the weight I've been trying to lose. So, so how do you need to shift your priority on your health? Do you need to eat better next year? Do you need to exercise more consistently? Do you need to get consistent with your products and take your before and after photos regularly? Okay. What products are you using next year? Do you need to set healthier boundaries when it comes to sleep? That's a good one for a lot of y'all. You do need sleep, boo. Okay. You do need like 6 to 8 hours. You can tell yourself 4 is working, but you need some sleep. How can you reduce stress in your life? How can you practice self-care? What habits do you need to change? What new habits do you want to create? How can you protect your mental space? And that's going to segue us right in to mental health goals. So how can you push yourself to learn this year? I love that question. I feel like we get so stagnant sometimes and just feeling like we know it all, feeling like we're good. But if you keep learning new skills, new things, like you just become an even better version of yourself. I decided I was going to learn to play the guitar once, and it didn't last very long, but I'm going to do that again. That's one of mine that I'm working on this year to learn something new. How many books do you want to read? You guys have all heard it. Leaders are readers, right? If you guys don't know the stats, it's like that. I don't know them either, but it's like the average person reads like 3 books a year. And then the average millionaire reads like 3 to 12 books. I don't know, something like that. A lot, probably like 3 to 5 books a month. Like what the average person reads in a year, an average millionaire reads that or more each month. So book reading, you guys, I want to push you, if you, whatever number you guys are putting down, to change it if it's not at least 12. I want to push you to listen to an audiobook or at least read 1 book a month next year. Do you need to start journaling? Do you need to prioritize time with God? What's a creative outlet you can work on incorporating in your life? And then how can you fall more in love with yourself? All right. How about our physical environment? That's a good one too. How can you declutter your house? I did this when we moved. We had a like 1,900 square foot house. We moved to our apartment. And when I tell you guys, I got rid of everything. I got rid of everything. Like my husband was like, what the heck? Like we don't need 6 plates for a family of 2 and a baby. We got like 3 or 4 plates. Okay. Like how can you declutter? How can you simplify your life? You don't need 200 pieces of clothing. You may, but you know, we probably can still get rid of a couple of them, right? Like, how can we simplify and declutter our life? Do you need to outsource some of the household things? This is a great one, especially when you're adding in like goals and like working toward things next year. When we had my daughter, we weren't in the greatest financial situation, but it wasn't like we were like making enough. And that's one thing that I think was one of the best things we did is we outsourced the lawn care at my house, and we paid someone to come cut the grass. And I was like, sometimes it's hard to justify spending money on things, right, that we could do ourselves. But sometimes there's also a priority of time. And is your time better spent with your kids for 4 hours or cutting the grass for 4 hours? when you could pay someone once every 2 weeks to do it. And so I want you guys to think about that as you're going into next year, whether it be, you pay someone to clean the house once a month or pay someone to do the yard work, or like, how can you incorporate that as a goal? Earn some weekly bonuses to pay for it. Like, how can you make that a priority? Because I think creating some of that freedom, especially I know a lot of us are moms, creating that freedom where someone else can help lighten your load, that's a great one. How can you help your home feel less stressful? Both like emotionally and straight up environmentally. Remember, we're staying here. This is our life. We are happy where we are at. That's what we're crafting. Like, yes, we have the big 5-year plan where we're going to have the ranch and we're doing all the big things, but how can you make the life you're in now less stressful? How can you make your house more happy now? You need to decorate it. What do you need to do to love where you're at? How can you simplify your workload at home? Do you need to like buy a whip and smack your husband around a little bit and help? Like, what do we got to do to simplify your workload at home? How can you improve your work environment so you feel more like doing things? I have the most cute desk in the world to work at, but I'm doing the Zoom from my island in my kitchen because my desk is just a holding ground of the things that go to sit there and die. So one of mine in the new year is getting that desk cleaned and getting rid of everything on it because it's junk because it just sits there. So how can you make your work environment more appealing, a place that you actually want to go sit down and get your work done at? All right, financial goals. Let's talk money. It's a great place to end. How much do you want to save this year? Let's start there. Do you need to set a budget or revise your budget? Do you need to make cutbacks to accomplish those financial goals? Do you need to meet with a financial advisor to get new knowledge, to learn, like we were talking about, to get help and direction? How much debt do you need to pay off this year or want to pay off? These are my fun questions. Let's talk about the good money side. I mean, saving and all, paying debt, good money, fun stuff. Let's talk about some bonuses. Let's talk about making some money, okay? How much money in bonuses do you want to earn next year? I'm going to tell you guys, there's going to be rank up bonuses coming. So there's going to be big bonuses, but like also weekly bonuses are here. You can make $50 every time you get 4 customers. Once you get through Christmas cash, after your 90 days, like just the old folks over here, we can make $50 every time we get 4 customers. You can get $150 every time you successfully help a new distributor in their first 90 days get 4 customers and a distributor. How much money are you making in bonuses next year, okay? I want some commas. I want some double digits, all right? Like, I want you guys dreaming. And I want you then to go back to like the work goals and the time goals and get consistent to actually go out and make that crap happen. How much monthly do you want to be making next month? Or next month too, but next year. Like, what is your financial monthly income goal? All right. I told you guys I had a lot of really good questions, right? I'm pretty impressed with that list. I'm excited to go back through it on my own because I put it together right before I hopped on here. But I just wanted to take a little bit different of an approach because I know I've dreamt a lot in this business. I've done a lot of really cute dream boards, and I've done a lot that are way more me and a whole lot less cute dream boards. And we look at dreaming sometimes it's this big picture, and it is, and that's part of it. And if you've never sat down and done 5-year, 10-year goals, I want to encourage you to do that too. I want to encourage you to sit down and think where you want to be in 5 years. How different life is going to look like then. Are you going to be married? Are you going to have more kids? Are you not having more kids? Are you going to be in a dream house? Are you going to be quit your full-time job? Are you going to have a nanny? Are you going to travel more places? Like what that looks like. And also what your 10-year goal is. Like in 10 years from now, where the heck you want to be, right? Like, because you want stuff to be different, that's for dang sure. We don't want none of the crap we got right now. I don't care if you think your life is perfect, you still want it to be better in 10 years. So what does 10 years look like? Like when you are, I was going to say my age, and then I was like, oh, that's real old. I'll be pushing 40 at that point, which seems like a very long time from now. But when I'm like pushing 40, where do I want to be? What do I want my legacy at that point to be? What name do I want to have for myself? How much money do I want to have in the bank? Like, what life do I want to have created by then? Because if you don't have the big picture, the little picture has a little less oomph. But if we're only looking at the big picture, guys, it's nothing but a pretty picture. And so this year, I want you guys to break it down into loving where you're at. I want to break it down into gratitude for what God has already done and how he's going to continue to faithfully show up. I want it to just become falling in love with you right now, being content with where you're at, loving this journey, even though it's a dang struggle bus sometimes, okay? Like we aren't feeling it, but just still loving it and trusting the process. Because when we stop being so focused on where we want to go and instead fall in love with the journey, that's when you unlock your full potential. That's when you allow God to move different in your life, to open doors that never could have been opened otherwise. And that's when you will create your dream life, your 5-10-year plan. That's going to come this year, can be the pivotal year that changes everything for you. This can be the year you look back on and you can be thinking like, oh my gosh, we did it. God freaking did it. He loosed the chains. He changed everything. This can be that year for you because it's going to be that year for someone. You guys have heard me say it. This year, this whatever, this Christmas cash, this promotion, this whatever the heck we're looking at, okay? Somebody's going to do it. Somebody is going to have their life entirely changed in 2024. Someone is going to be so entirely different this time next year. Someone will make $1 million next year. Someone is going to be the first one in their family to do these big things next year. Someone is going to change their children and their grandchildren's lives next year. Why the heck can that not be you? Because I don't care where you came from. I don't care what this year has looked like. I don't care what the last 10 years of your business has looked like. Because none of that has any merit on what God can do tomorrow. Somebody's going to change their life. And I am praying that you will buck up. You will take control of your business. You're going to get in love with where you're at in the process. And you're going to allow God to just come in and wreck your world. And let this be the year. This right now, guys, is the last time you feel like this. Next year, you're not in this boat. Next year, you don't feel like this. Next year, you don't have these insecurities. Next year, you don't have these stresses. This is it. We draw the line in the sand. You're not coming back here because we're going out and we are changing things. We are not thinking God's a genie. We're not just praying for it. We're praying like heck for it. But we're showing up for the first time in our lives, believing in the calling on our life, believing that he can do amazing things, believing that he has it in store for you, believing that this is your time. It is not next year. It is not 10 years from now. It is not 5 years. It's not when you have the house. It's not when you're finally pregnant. It's not when you got the man. It is right now. I believe wholeheartedly, you guys, that this is the year everything changes. And I'm praying so hard that you get on board. I'm praying so hard that you let God rock it, come in and wreck it, and just allow him to completely change everything over this next year. Because, guys, this company is going somewhere. Things are happening, and it is now your job. You just had some prompts. You just had the chance to dream a little bit. You can come back and do it again. But doing just that is not going to be enough. It is now, the ball is in your court. I've done my job. I hyped you guys up. I see all the caps in the chat. Okay, my job is done. It's your turn now. It's your turn to take ownership of your business. It's your turn to get consistent, to get uncomfortable, and to figure out some dang way to love you and love your situation. Because when you get grateful for where you are, you stop looking left and right, thinking you need to be somewhere else. That's when God has the power to move. And that's what I want for you guys this year. So I love you all. I will still pray us out. You just get 2 prayers from me today. And I will have this recording up possibly tonight, if not tomorrow. But All right, dear Lord Jesus, thank you so much for this space to hopefully dream just a little bit bigger and a little bit different. I just know that you are ready to move. I know that you are ready to do things that we've been praying for, and we are ready finally to just let go. And to let go of this idea that we were meant to be somewhere else, to let go of this idea we were supposed to be further than we are, to let go of this idea it's supposed to be easy, to let go of this idea that there's something wrong with us, that it's got to be just me, and instead to believe and to take you at your word when you said that we're your children, that we are called to greatness, that you and your promises are yes sir and amen, and that what you are called before us, you're calling us to, and you're going to equip us along the way. And we are so excited for what you're going to unfold this year. We know it's going to be big, and we're here for the ride. We're ready to work hard. We're ready to trust you, full faith, and watch as you just change everything for us. In Jesus' name, amen. I love you guys. I'm hyped now, so hopefully you guys are hyped too. And I will see you guys next week, same time, same ID. You're all welcome to come hang out with me again. Bye, friends.